If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sonny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it, and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it. Yeah,
there's nothing there.
I mean, you're married, Tom. You're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been for years lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said?
Recently, Sunny Hostin has been in the news, but not because of her controversial opinions on The View. No, it was about her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, this time. Furthermore, the headlines were anything but kind, I must say. Orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Hostin and his orthopedic and sports medicine practice were caught in the middle of a huge storm. Claims of kickbacks, insurance fraud, and, get this, a huge RICO lawsuit with 180 defendants. Folks, this isn't just any case. It is a complete blockbuster. To ensure you don't miss any of the turns in this Hollywood-scale scandal, hit the like button and subscribe before we get started on the drama.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
Let's dissect it. Targeting organized crime was the goal of the RICO Act, also known as the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Imagine gangs and mobsters. Here's the twist, though. Physicians, surgeons, and medical practices are the ones in the hot seat, not criminals from the underworld. Imagine a courtroom drama that has a lot of fraud mixed in, but feels more like Grey's Anatomy than Goodfellas. Dr. Hostin and others were allegedly involved in a scheme to take advantage of the healthcare system, according to the lawsuit. They allegedly billed insurance companies for procedures that may never have occurred and accepted kickbacks for performing unnecessary surgeries. Imagine this: patients undergoing surgery. Money is exchanged like it's a high-stakes game of poker at the hospital, with insurance picking up the tab.
I want a citizen that has a policy. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation? How about removing some of the podcasts that disseminate this misinformation?
They have.
And that's
where the juicy parts are. The lawsuit focuses on Dr. Hostin's claims that he received financial compensation for performing or recommending arthroscopic surgeries, which are minimally invasive joint operations. Although these surgeries may not seem significant at first glance, the lawsuit alleges that many of them were totally unnecessary. Were these patients part of a scheme to make quick cash, or did they truly need knee or shoulder surgeries? This could become one of the largest medical betrayals, surpassing even soap opera scandals, if the accusations are accurate. Imagine having faith in your physician only to discover that you were merely a pawn in a financial scheme. Betrayal like that stings.
It's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the...
The American Transit Insurance Company comes next. The plaintiff alleges that they were defrauded of millions of dollars by being charged for surgeries that were either unnecessary or never performed. It's similar to purchasing tofu instead of steak. However, insurance companies also don't have the best records, let's face it. They have been charged with underpaying physicians, rejecting claims, and taking advantage of every possible way to avoid making payments. The key question now is whether ATIC is actually revealing a huge healthcare scam, or if this is merely a last-ditch effort to place the blame on a business that is on the verge of going bankrupt.
According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft.
Daniel Thwaites, the attorney for Dr. Hostin, didn't mince words. He characterized the lawsuit as a last-ditch attempt by a financially troubled company and called it a pointless attempt by ATIC to recoup their losses. His defense: turn the attention to the ATIC and portray them as the true villains. Traditional courtroom strategy. This courtroom drama is getting hotter as you turn the tables on your accuser. Hold on tight, though. There's more. Here comes media critic and podcast king Joe Rogan. Rogan didn't mince words when he criticized The View for what he perceived to be outright hypocrisy. He brought up Sunny Hostin's habit of disparaging people while posing as an expert on the subject and perhaps being aware of her husband's dubious activities. Rogan then went all out, criticizing the show and claiming that you might still have trouble reaching triple digits if you average out The View hosts' IQs. Harsh? Of course, but it was a huge hit with his fans.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
Sunny has remained eerily silent while Dr. Hostin battles to clear his name in court. On The View, she is usually all over controversy, but in regards to the scandal involving her husband, quiet. What's the silence? Is she waiting for legal counsel, trying to put some distance between them, or sticking by him? Fans are giddy, with some believing she is defending her reputation. Others question whether she's merely trying to avoid being next in line. In any case, her silence is very telling. The kicker is this: there are 180 defendants in this case, including hospitals, medical practices, and other physicians, including Dr. Hostin. This could rank among the biggest medical fraud cases in history if these claims are accurate. Millions are being exploited by a whole network of corruption in the healthcare system. It resembles a heist film. However, these people are stealing insurance premiums rather than banks.
Her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit. Okay. Now let's read this. Rob, is this a video?
Well, I have this. I'll show you this about.
Let me just read this and I'll come to you. So, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Thwaites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread.
Fundamentally, this raises a much larger question. Given that money appears to be more important than patient care, how much trust do we actually have in the healthcare system? When medical professionals and insurance companies prioritize their profits over the health of their patients, trust starts to decline. Patients shouldn't feel as though they're entering a financial trap when they walk into a doctor's office. Additionally, keep in mind that Attic is only making matters worse if they are using this lawsuit as a smokescreen to hide their own financial mess. It will be difficult to untangle this complicated mess of a situation. Dr. Hostin has not yet been convicted. These are merely accusations. However, the legal battle is expected to be a spectacle. Both sides are preparing for an intense battle. Therefore, our only option for the time being is to relax, eat some popcorn, and attempt to distinguish between fact and fiction. Regardless of Dr. Hostin's guilt or innocence, this case is already bringing to light some unsettling realities about the insurance and healthcare sectors. So fasten your seatbelt. This is by no means the end of the scandal. I'll be here with popcorn in hand, watching every new development unfold like the inevitable courtroom drama it is. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like today's video so you don't miss any updates. I'll see you at the following one. Calm.